5.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy 5-Piece, producer and engineer extraordinaire. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe and the bell button so you can stay tuned for more tutorials in the future. In today's lesson, I'm actually not going to do a lesson, but I'm going to instead show you 3 free plugins that I love to use in almost every mix. These are 100% free, like I said, and you're able to use these in your sessions and mixes to make better music today. Let's jump into Pro Tools and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The first plugin on this list is a pretty popular free plugin that you may have heard of already. It's called Saturation Knob. It's by Softtube. Great company, great free product. Don't have to pay anything for it. And this can easily find its way into any mix, whether you're using it on instruments, on vocals, and even in this case, I'm using it actually on an 808. And this is from Tunnel Vision, a song by Left Field Keel, an artist that I've been working with for a while now. So yeah, I'll play this for a second. I'll play the first half, hopefully without the saturation in, and then I'll put it in on the second half, and you can see how it really brings to life the 808 in the track. So this is without it. I'm going to unmute it halfway through. You get the idea. You could tell that it's really adding a lot of high-end harmonics and saturation, which is obviously what it's supposed to do to the signal. So love this plugin. I love that I can just dial in a specific amount of saturation and even choose the type, whether I want to keep the high end or keep the low end or whatever. Very flexible and simple plugin to use, so highly recommend that you check this one out. Another free plugin that I like using in my mixing and mastering setup is this plugin called the loudness meter, and it's the second version, and it's free. Okay, there's a paid version as well, I believe, but the free version is very good. It works very well, and you might be wondering why I use this. I use this to meter my tracks, especially when I'm mastering. If you're not aware, LUFS is a type of loudness curve or measurement that a lot of streaming services and even platforms and programs are using these days to measure loudness. It stands for loudness units full scale. And really, LUFS helps reward people who are mixing more dynamically because, for example, Spotify and other streaming services, when they receive your song, when you're distributing your song on their service, they will look at your mix and they will bring it either up or down, depending on where it is level-wise, to -14 LUFS. So if your song is lower than -14, let's say it's at -20, it'll bring it up to -14. However, if it's loud, if it's at -7, as you see right here, it's going to bring it down to -14. And the reason why they do this is they want to create a consistent experience for the end listener. Now, it's not really easy to know what you're hitting LUFS-wise without having a metering plugin, and that's where this plugin comes into play. So I use this in my masters, especially when I'm mastering a song, so I can get an idea of where a song is at level-wise. And I'm not always trying to hit -14, to be completely honest. I'm going to save that discussion for another lesson perhaps. But it is a good idea to use this plugin to get an idea of where you're hitting LUFS-wise so that you know how to address the record and whether it's going to be brought up or down in volume, and ultimately understand how it's going to sound when it finally hits the streaming platforms that you choose to put it on. So I'll play this song here. This is from a session, just so you can see how this is working. This is on the master. It's a mastering session from Everything Ocean for his song Shit for Show. So yeah, check this out. I'll play the first part, and you can see where we're hitting on the LUFS, specifically the short term and the integrated here.
Shit for sure, nigga, that's for sure. Still sippin', drinking drugs, and it's after 4. All them niggas hatin', now they knocking at the door. Oh, god damn it, now they actin' like some wolves. I don't know this shit for sure, nigga, that's for sure. Still sippin', drinking drugs, and it's after 4. All them niggas hatin', now they knocking at the door. Oh, god damn it, now they actin' like some wolves.
I don't trust
So you get the idea. Got the Ulean loudness meter too, the free version. Great plugin to use, especially when trying to meter and understand where your records are hitting level-wise, particularly in reference to the LUFS. So the third and final free plugin that I have for today's video is this one, TDR Nova. It's a dynamic EQ from Tokyo Dawn Labs. They make amazing products. A lot of them are free, so I highly recommend that you check them out if you get a chance. They have compressors and EQs and all kinds of cool stuff. But this one is specifically a little bit different from what you may be used to because it's a dynamic EQ. You might be wondering what that is. A dynamic EQ is basically like an EQ and a compressor had a baby. A typical EQ, you'll be able to increase or decrease a frequency or the presence of a frequency, right, with the gain. And that's going to happen for the entirety of a track, right? So if you take something out, unless you automate it, it's going to stay out, right? Now, a dynamic EQ is a little bit different in the sense of you can take out a frequency, but it'll only be removed or it'll only be added once that frequency passes a certain threshold, similar to a compressor. So you could basically set it up to get rid of a frequency only when it becomes too problematic and not stay out of the track for the rest of the duration of the song. And I like that because it's a little more flexible and it lets you achieve a more transparent result in your song. So I got a song here. You may recognize this. It's Voicemails by Stasia Daniels. I did some stem mastering for her on this record, and it's one of her really popular songs. It has over 100,000 streams on Spotify right now, last time I checked. But I'll play you this without it, and I'll put it in, and you guys can kind of see what's happening here. I'm just basically taking down two frequencies that I find are just becoming a little bit too overwhelming at times throughout the mix, in the vocal specifically.
Cheese me for the 100th time, you know. I've been here, sitting here, blowing up your phone. Gotta say some to you and then I'm gone. Hey, I don't want you hit me back no more. Hey, had to close, so I let you go. That way, heavy, won't you hit the flow? I'm deep in you, in my review, all about me. No, not about you. This how it's gonna be, baby. I'm leaving you, baby. I'm looking good since I left you.
I'll pause it there, but I think you get the idea. You can tell it's subtle, but it's just helping tighten and clean things up ever so slightly and smoothing out the vocal pretty much as a whole. So this is another amazing plugin, very usable on vocals, but pretty much any track where you may be EQing and find yourself unsure if you want to actually make the EQ move you're doing, you can set up the threshold and have that move only happen when it actually needs to happen, aka when the frequency becomes too overwhelming. So highly recommend you check out this plugin as well if you get the chance. And there you have it, folks, 3 free plugins that you can include in your mixes today. I'm going to include a link to each of these in the description box below. As always, if you got value out of this tutorial, please share it with your friends, your artist friends, producer friends, engineer friends, anybody you think would benefit from knowing this, knowing about these 3 free plugins. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share. Love it if you did that. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you again soon. Peace out. Hey, what's going on? This is your boy 5-Piece, producer and engineer extraordinaire. Are you an artist, producer, engineer, or music professional that's looking for funding for your music career? Could you benefit from having funding for studio time, mixing and mastering, or even marketing costs? I think I have something for you. I've written a free ebook. It's 9 pages, super short and digestible, where I break down the 6 main places that artists and professionals like yourself can find funding for their musical projects. If this sounds like it's of value to you, please click the link below and you can download this for free today and benefit from this knowledge. I hope this helps. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.